Is Modern Ruby Storm the best Faithless Looting deck? No, let's not pretend that it is, but it is a deck that gets better. Let me tell you why. This video is proudly sponsored by Card Market. In front of you is my current Modern Ruby Storm deck list, and I'm so excited to share it with you today because I believe that I found a meaningful innovation to the archetype, and that is Faithless Looting as a 4 of. When you look at MTG Goldfish, most lists are playing 1 to 2 copies right now. Well, when you play 4, you get to support things like 4 copies of Wish. Well, why would you want 4 Wish? Nobody is playing 4. Well, if you look at the modern metagame right now, you have Boros Energy, Mardu Energy, and then even the Mirror Match, aka Ruby Storm, playing Orm's Chant. The best way to beat Orm's Chant is not Orm's Chant. And I feel like that's something where the modern Ruby Storm community's kind of gotten it wrong, because Pact of Negation is what you actually want. If you're playing the Orm's Chant war, you have to pass the turn because you'll play your chant, they'll play theirs in response, you have to pass. Or they play theirs on their turn, you have to chant them and hope that they don't have another for you to win. That sort of play pattern, it's not fun, and it requires a lot of passing and getting lucky. Well, when you have a Pact of Negation, all you have to do is play Wish to start your turn. If the Wish resolves, you can then play Desperate Ritual, Pyretic Ritual, etc., and then you have Pact of Negation back up to win the game. Okay, so that seems sweet, and if they don't have it, you could just get Past in Flames or some other card, and that allows you to win that way. So I've really liked 4 Wish alongside 4 Faithless Looting, and I'm showcasing that today. Well, what left? I'm no longer playing Delicate Awakening, and I'm no longer playing Artist Talent. Those are the changes. So yeah, I'm down to 18 lands. I get it, but I'm adding in Smoothing with Faithless Looting, so I'm hoping that offsets the lack of lands with Delicate Awakening. 20 always felt like a little clunky, and Faithless Looting is just, it's a cheap and efficient card. You're going to churn through your deck a lot more efficiently. That is the thought process here. So you could play your own Orm's Chant. I'm choosing to play Veil of Summer because it's best against the most popular deck in the format, being Dimir Frogtide. And I'd rather have a highly effective card like Veil of Summer than Orm's Chant that is fine. Like, it's not bad, but it's fine. Veil of Summer is just the best in that matchup. So you have Pact of Negation to beat their Orm's Chant. You have the best card in the format for beating the most popular deck in the format. And then you have Into the Floodmaw, which is just a versatile answer for everything. If you play white, you get Wrath of the Skies, Prismatic Ending, Static Prison, those sort of effects, Wear Tear, but they're not great. Like, they all have their own flaws. Into the Floodmaw cleanly answers anything, and then you just untap and win the game. So I prefer Into the Floodmaw alongside Flame of Anor between the sideboard and the main deck to answer anything that I care about. So I still prefer Teamer. I understand that Boros or even the Naya, there we go, it took me a second to remember the word, builds are, more popular right now, but I don't think they're better. And hopefully I can prove that to you today. So if you enjoyed today's video, like, comment, subscribe. I hope that you enjoy it, and I'll see you in the first match. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, cyborg guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to the first round. We are on the play. Yeah, this seems great. Keep. We'll play Bloodstained Mire. Pass. They play Scalding Tarn. We'll search out our Surveil land, Thundering Falls. Trigger. And we'll keep the Rail Monsoon Mage. Play Arid Mesa. We'll fetch. Grab Basic Mountain. And then let's play Ren's Resolve, looking for a third land. We did not find it, but Pyretic Ritual, Ren's Resolve is not bad. They find a Regrin Triome, Cascade Bluffs. Okay. Let's play the Pyretic Ritual, play the Ren's Resolve, hopefully hitting a land here. We did not. Let's try the Faithless Looting. We did find a land. We'll discard Faithless Looting and the Wish. Play Bloodstained Mire, pass. So our graveyard is ready for this Past in Flames. I wonder if our opponent is playing Splinter Twin due to the Cascade bluffs. Tune the narrative. So they're just Jeskai control. They play basic planes. Teferi Time Raveler. Okay. They plus the Teferi. So this is probably our window to try to win. We will fetch, grab Commercial District, grab another Surveil. We'll keep the 4th land. So the fear here is if our opponent has a Solitude or Force of Negation. Play Rail Monsoon Mage. Let's try a Desperate Ritual. Trigger the Rail. We'll say Tails. We win the flip. No, I would not like to flip Rail. Desperate Ritual. Let's try Reckless Impulse. We'll say Tails. We win the flip. No. Pyretic Ritual. This is the 3rd spell for Rail, because Rail itself was played this turn. We lose the flip this time. Our opponent's thinking they might have another Force of Negation here. They do. Okay, so they force a negation of the Pyretic Ritual. I don't care. We'll play another one. Had it the whole time. We lose the flip. I will now play Past in Flames. Trigger the Rail. And the opponent concedes. Nice. Take that Force of Negation. We'll now bring in Veil of Summer. And then some of these decks do have Surgical in the sideboard, so you might want the Grapeshot. You could also bring in Empty the Warrens, whatever your heart desires. It really is your call. I feel like maybe in this matchup, Empty... I guess they're probably Wrath of the Skies deck. I don't know if I feel strongly. I do think this is not a great matchup for Flame of Anor, so those can be sided out. You could definitely shave on Looting. You don't need those. Maybe shave 1 Past in Flames. It's either 1 Past in Flames or a Wish. We'll try -1 Wish. In slower matchups like this, I don't mind boarding out a Faithless Looting, though, just because you're not trying necessarily to be as fast. It is a consistency card, but it's also a card that rewards speed, and we're not playing a speed-based matchup. Yeah, this hand is great. Keep. Scalding Turn and pass. I like that. I guess I'll do the same. They find the Regrin Triome, Flooded Strand. We will fetch. They have 6 cards. We'll grab Thundering Falls. I think I'll keep another Ruby. Play Stomping Ground. Ouch. And let's just jam a Ruby here. Like, I don't expect this to resolve, but it can eat a counterspell. Consign to Memory. Sure. They fetch with Flooded Strand. For a Meticulous Archive. They kept the card on top. Land 3. And they just pass. Let's try Ren's Resolve here, trying to dig for our 3rd land. We find it. Scalding Tarn. I'm going to leave the Looting in exile this turn. I could always play it next turn depending on what happens. Hallowed Fountain. They have 5 cards in hand. We will fetch. Grab the Commercial District. Keep Steam Vents. We'll play the Steam Vents. Ouch. Let's try Ruby Medallion. They play Spell Snare. I will attempt a Veil of Summer. They hardcast Force of Negation. Our things will be countered. Let's play the Faithless Looting. They have 3 cards remaining. Discard Wish and Manamorphose. They play land number 5, leaving them with 3 cards left. We draw a land. Let's play Ren's Resolve. Okay. So I will flashback Looting this turn, and that way I can filter this basic mountain. Flashback Looting. Discard Mountain and Manamorphose. Pass. Hoping to find another copy of Veil of Summer at some point. They have 3 cards. What are you doing here? Hardcast Solitude. I dig it. Bring the Pain. So that might mean that they have another in hand, because I doubt that they would have played it out if they had nothing else going on. Soul Guide Lantern. Okay. They have 2 cards left. They exile Wish. We draw Manamorphose. Let's try Rail Monsoon Mage. Reckless Impulse. Trigger the Rail. Galvanic Discharge. I will respond. Pyretic Ritual. Manamorphose. We'll choose Tails. We win the flip, I'll say yes. Manamorphose. We'll do red, green. In case I draw a Veil of Summer. And now the Rail triggers. We'll just continue to choose Tails. We win the flip. Galvanic Discharge. They do not use it. So I could use the Rail to kill the Solitude this turn. Or I can use it to reduce my spells. And now we will Reckless Impulse. I think we want to reduce our spells. We'll play Desperate Ritual, Ren's Resolve, Storm is 7. Play Rail Monsoon Mage, Faithless Looting. We'll say Tails. Never fails! We'll keep the Rail that can Mind's Desire. Faithless Looting, discard Arid Mesa and the other Rail. One of the few ways we could lose this is if for some reason they drew a Surgical Extraction, so let's just not risk it. We'll minus the Rail. I guess I boarded in the Grapeshot, so we wouldn't lose to Surgical. Holy Past in Flames, Batman. We'll play some rituals here. Play Past in Flames. I guess I should have sequenced this differently because of the Soul Guide Lantern. Admittedly, I forgot that it was there for a moment. That's okay. We'll be fine. I should have Past in Flames with the rituals still in exile. We'll play Wish. Their last card in hand was Force of Negation. That's fine with me. We'll play another Wish. So they have no hand. I kind of doubt they can beat and empty the Warrens for 32. Alternatively, I could play Glimpse here, floating 2 mana with a Past in Flames in exile. I'm just going to empty the Warrens. You have to draw exactly Wrath of the Skies, and I could still play Past in Flames. No, I can't play Past in Flames next turn. They were off rail. I corrected myself. I guess I should play these, though, because there's no harm in doing it. That way they stay in the graveyard. What was your draw step? Sweet. 1-0 to start off this Modern League. Not bad. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Time for the second match. We're on the draw. I'm going to keep this hand. It's quite good. Let's go. Scalding Tarn. Okay, so likely a blue deck. We'll play Bloodstained Mire, pass the turn. So while I have a Faithless Looting, you don't have to play it on the first turn. It really depends on what the matchup is. Like if my opponent showed me a non-blue fetch land there, I probably would have played the Faithless Looting. But now I want to hold it and accrue value with this Faithless Looting. I feel like that's something that gets lost with the card. People feel like they just have to play the card on turn 1 all the time. That's not how the card, like just because you can doesn't mean that you should. We see a Psychic Frog here. This gives me a pretty good window to slam the Ruby Medallion. We'll search out Thundering Falls. I think we want the third land. Psychic Frog resolves. We'll play Arid Mesa, we'll fetch. Grab the basic mountain. And let's play Ruby Medallion. They had the Force of Negation. Okay, that hurts. They have 3 cards after their draw step. They can attack and go up to 4. Land number 3, so they have 3 cards now. Let's try Ren's Resolve. Bloodstained Mire will pass. So I could play the Faithless Looting here. If they have an Orcish Bowmasters, I don't really want to get punished. And I'd rather just go grab the other Surveil land on the end step. They have the 4th land. Okay, so now I'm at 16, and they have 4 cards. They search out Undercity Sewers for an Oculus. So if they have, what is it called? I'm sure we're about to see it. Why can't I think of the name? It's the card everyone wants me to play in Pauper Cycle Storm, and now I can't think of it. Unearth. There we go. So they have a Murktide Regent with 3 cards left in their hand. We'll grab Commercial District. Don't think we need Wish right now. Put that to the graveyard. Let's try Reckless Impulse. Another Ruby Medallion. Hopefully it resolves. We'll fetch. Grab a basic. Ruby Medallion. Spell Pierce. Okay. Pass the turn. They discard an island. And it looks like they don't want to discard another card, because they could have discarded another card to Psychic Frog here and then pumped the Murktide Regent. They chose not to. So now they have 3 cards. We have to win this turn, or else we're dead next turn. We draw another land. We'll search out the last basic left in the deck. And this is a good spot to Faithless Looting, just because you do have 2 lands in your hand that are not going to do anything. Unfortunately, we did draw another land. We'll play Manamorphose. We'll make 2 red. Another Manamorphose. We'll play that. Red, red. another land. So I have 2 mana floating. I have exactly 6. So I can go Pyretic Ritual, Desperate Ritual, Past in Flames, replay those rituals up to 4, recycle 2 mana Morphos and Prey. That's the best I can do here. Alternatively, I could Reckless Impulse, going down to just 2 mana floating with 2 rituals in hand. And then I would need to find something very good. So I guess if I'm relying on the 2 draws off mana Morphos in the graveyard, I might as well Reckless Impulse, because either way I'm looking at the top 2. We'll play Reckless Impulse. Looting Wish. So I think we've probably lost this now. We'll Pyretic Ritual. And they cycle Unearth. Okay. Well, Faithless Looting. Bummer. Okay. So we came up short here. We just didn't find enough mana. We saw 50% of our deck and only found 2 rituals. So I could go Desperate Ritual Wish with no mana floating. I guess I could Mind Collapse the Murktide Regent. Keeps me alive for a turn. Okay, I guess that's the play. Ooh, okay, so if I Mind Collapse the Murktide Regent, they could make it bigger using the Psychic Frog. So am I just dead? If I Mind Collapse the Psychic Frog, they could just discard their hand. So Mind Collapse is not good enough in this spot. I've already played a land, so Ruby Medallion into Ren's Resolve does not work. The only out here is hoping that my opponent misplays. So we'll play Wish, and then I will play Mind Collapse, target the Psychic Frog. They discard Fatal Push. I guess I get some information this way, what they were holding in hand. And then they buff the Murktide Regent, and that is in fact lethal. They had an Oculus, and another Frog. Okay, so we did not get there. Bummer. We will bring in Veil of Summer. I don't love Flame of Anor here, so that can be sided out. I do like Empty the Warrens, so we'll bring that in. That's how we beat Surgical Extraction, which is often a 2 to 3 of in the sideboard of these decks. And then we'll shave a couple copies of Wish and or Faithless Looting. We'll shave 1 Looting, 1 Wish. Let's try this. Game number 2, we're on the play this time. Yeah, keep. Hopefully the Ruby Medallion resolves. We'll play Commercial District, Surveil. We'll keep the second copy of Ruby Medallion, pass. Marsh Flats. We'll just play another Thundering Falls. Keep the Ren's Resolve. Pass the turn. Under City Sewers. They kept the card on top. Basic Swamp. And the Frog. So this probably means another Force of Negation. So the question is, should I just play the Rail and risk it dying to a Fatal Push? Or do I play the Medallion now, because then Consigned to Memory can't hit it later? We'll play Ruby Medallion. I think there's just more things that hit the Ruby Medallion later on. Counterspell was exiled to Force of Negation. Thoughtseize, okay. This deck just has so much interaction. They take the Rail Monsoon Mage, so they did not have the Fatal Push if I had played the Rail on turn 2. They draw off the Frog. And now the fear is if I play Ruby Medallion... That was a terrible draw. If I play the Ruby Medallion that they just have Consigned to Memory. Well, Manamorpho's looking for a 3rd land. Red, red. Ren's Resolve. I would love a Faithless Looting. Pyretic Ritual, Rail Monsoon Mage. We will pass the turn. The Psychic Frog attacks. They'll draw up to 7 cards in hand. Well, they discard a card first, so they'll stay at 6. They unearth the Oculus. So they have, a lot of power on the board now. My time is running out. Another Ruby Medallion. We'll play Pyretic Ritual. Play the Rail. They have Spell Snare. I think I'm actually just dead, because I drew pretty much straight garbage, and we just can't do anything. They discard Psychic Frog. Do they have... No, they can't have lethal here, right? That's 10 damage on board. So I go to 7. There's no draw that gets me out of it next turn. I guess if I hit Faithless Looting into, land Ritual, that still doesn't do it. I promise Veil of Summer is good in the matchup when you don't draw like I did. But it didn't happen here. My apologies. So we lose our first round. So we are now 1-1, but there's still 3 matches left to go. I'm sure we'll beat some blue decks with Veil of Summer in one of those. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Round number 3, we've opened up a no lander. We have to send this one back. This seems fine. Bottom, the Flame of Anor. We're facing Belcher. This is a deck built to beat combo, so we'll see how we do here. Arid Mesa. This could be a hand where I try for a turn 2 win, also depending on what our opponent has in hand. Okay. I feel like this is kind of our spot to go for it. Keep the Ren's Resolve. We'll grab Basic Mountain. Pyretic Ritual. And they had the Spell Snare. Okay. I'm glad you countered a Pyretic Ritual and not my Rail Monsoon Mage. They have another land. No creature, so Flare of Denial is not turned on right now. We'll try another Pyretic Ritual. Jory Disruption. Okay. We will pass. It's a lot of counterspells. And now they can hardcast Flare of Denial. They play Sink into Stupor as a land. Thundertrap Trainer. Okay, so they find a Veil. Not really great against me. Draw Past in Flames. We'll try playing the Rail Monsoon Mage. It resolves! Pass the turn. They play the Veil as a land and they suspend a Lotus Bloom. They have 3 cards remaining. I'll take one, I'm not blocking. I don't know if there's a reason to not block, but I'm not going to risk it. We find a land, we'll fetch. Grab a basic. Ren's Resolve. Trigger the Rail Monsoon Mage. We'll say Tails. We win the flip. We reveal a Wish. Let's play Desperate Ritual. We'll say Tails. We win the flip. No. Let's see if Past in Flames resolves. If it does, we're in an incredible spot. Tails. Pyretic Ritual. Tails. We win the flip. No. Alright. We are... Coast is clear, I believe. We'll say no. Desperate Ritual. So any flip now is good for us. We'll play Ren's Resolve. Say Tails. We lose the flip. Let's play Ruby Medallion. Play Wish. Oh, I meant to hold priority, but I forgot that I auto-yielded. We lost the flip anyway. Play Desperate Ritual. Lost the flip again. We'll play Reckless Impulse. We won the flip. It's possible. 2 more Ren's Resolve effects. We'll minus the Rail. Okay, so it looks like we just need to keep casting spells. Manamorphose. This can make 2 red. Pyretic Ritual. We'll play Wish. Cost 1, that's fine. Ren's Resolve. Reckless Impulse. Pyretic Ritual. We will draw 2. So one nice thing about Flame of Anor in your Faithless Looting deck is you actually draw cardboard. So that allows your lootings to be better. Okay, and I believe this last one is also free. I might be wrong on this one. Yeah, this one is not free. Okay. We'll play Reckless Impulse. Play another Ruby Medallion. Manamorphose. Make a couple red. Play the Wish. And Grapeshot. Take that, Belcher. Sweet. So I really like all 4 copies of Wish in this matchup. I do not want to board those out, because I feel like fighting with Pact of Negation is one of your best strengths. I want Veil of Summers, but I don't want to take out Wish. I also really like the smoothing of looting, so I think here, even though Flame of Anor destroys an artifact, that's the card that should be sided out. Now you're at 61, so something else has to go. I'm going to say the second copy of Past in Flames. So this is what we're going to try here. When you have 4 Wish, you could even play 1 less Past in Flames in the main deck, in my opinion. Just because you have access to it so often. Game 2 around the draw, I will keep. They play a tap land on the first turn. We'll do the same, but mine also surveils. Keep Veil of Summer. Oh. They play a Seagate Restoration as a land. Thundertrap Trainer. They find Goblin Charbelcher. Okay. We'll play Arid Mesa, fetch, grab Basic Mountain, I'm going to play the Ren's Resolve. Past in Flames in a land. Okay. They play a land. I think our turn is a turn in which I want to try to do something. Another land there wasn't great, because I want the Past in Flames, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. So, if I want to do something and they have any interaction, I would have to go Ritual, Rail, Veil of Summer, and then Ritual, Past in Flames past the turn. That's just not good enough. I think I should pass the turn here, and I'll Surveil on their end step. So the Past in Flames will be exiled. Goodbye. They attack with the Thundertrap Trainer, and they're just going to pass. So if they don't have anything going on, we can also... I guess the fear is if they Whir of Invention here, or Lotus Bloom, if they draw a 4th land, I lose. So maybe I shouldn't just, sit still. We definitely don't need another land that can go to the graveyard. Oh, geez. Alright, so if I go Rail, Monsoon, Mage, and then Veil of Summer, Ritual, Wish, I have 3 mana, which isn't enough to Past in Flames, but I could Glimpse, which might be okay. We'll grab the basic mountain. Let's try Rail, Monsoon, Mage. Disrupting Shoal, exiling Disrupting Shoal. I will Veil of Summer. They Flare of Denial. Okay. So now they have 4 cards. If it's Whir of Invention, Goblin Charbelcher, untap land, you earned it. I'm not going to be able to beat that. So our opponent's sequencing there was a little weird, because if they got rid of the Thundertrap Trainer, they could have Disrupting Shoaled the Veil of Summer by paying 3 mana. And they Surgical Extraction on my Rail, Monsoon, Mage. I did not board in Grapeshot, so if they had Surgical for Wish, I would have been in big trouble. Oh, they have the Whir. So they're just praying to draw a land here. Okay. Untap land wins. Oh, Tameshi also wins. Yep. So they had double protected turn 5. That's not unreasonable. We know that they have Belcher in hand. We can just go to the next one. Okay. I need a boarding Grapeshot. Take out 1 Faithless Looting. Let's try this. Game number 3 versus Belcher. This time we're on the play. No second land. This hand was so close. We have to mulligan. We're going to keep this and bottom the Grapeshot. It's not an incredible hand, but it's fine enough. Keep. Grapeshot goes in the bottom. Our opponent also took a mulligan. We'll play Scalding Tarn, pass the turn. They have a tap land, so I can play Rail on the second turn. They suspend a Lotus Bloom, so they cannot Spell Snare me here. They could Disrupting Shoal, but that's it. We'll grab Commercial District, in case I draw into a Veil of Summer. We want the Ruby Medallion. Play Rail, Monsoon, Mage. The resolves, good to see. Lotus Bloom will come off, 1 counter will come off suspend, I should say. They have another tap land. We'll attack with the Rail. And now let's play Ruby Medallion. We will pass the turn. On the end step, we will Surveil again with the Scalding Tarn. Land number 3. We will fetch. Grab Thundering Falls. So if they have a Sink and a Stupor, it's a little annoying. We don't need Stomping Ground. Let's try starting with a Wish. The Rail trigger, we lost the flip. Okay, Wish on the stack. Resolving is very good for us. So now we'll play Desperate Ritual. Say Tails, we lose the flip. They're going to Flare of Denial. I'm going to respond. Let's try Desperate Ritual. The Rail will trigger. We'll say Tails, we lose the flip. Desperate Ritual. So hear me out. I have played 4 spells. If I Pact of Negation, even if they counter back, my Past in Flames could win the game by flipping the Rail. I think I'm supposed to Pact of Negation here. Pact of Negation, the Flare of Denial. We'll say Tails. Rail is not... I've lost 5 straight flips. So now Desperate Ritual. Past in Flames. The Rail can now trigger. We'll say Tails. We lost the flip again. So now, okay, that resolved. We'll play Wish. So now the Pact of Negation has flashback too. We finally win a flip. We'll say yes. Wish. We'll minus the Rail. And this should be enough to get the job done. We'll play Wish for free. The opponent concedes the match. Alright, we're 2-1. We just beat a deck that's designed to beat Ruby Storm, so that feels good. And, you know, we're looking decent. I'll say that. 2 matches left. Hopefully we win those. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. For round number 4, we're on the draw. I will keep. So last week I uploaded a video where I went undefeated with Grinding Station, Underworld Breach combo. Woo! All that good stuff. Well, I actually faced this opponent in that league. Are they playing the same deck today? I don't know. But in that league, they were playing Jund Indomitable Creativity. So Misty Rainforest is probably not that deck. We'll play Wooded Foothills and Pass. They use the Misty or a Undercity Sewer. So they're probably on the Dimir Frogtide deck. They surveil away a Watery Grave. Okay, Polluted Delta. Okay, well, not Dimir Frogtide. But it is a Psychic Frog. Okay. We will fetch, grab the Thundering Falls, keep the 3rd land. I believe I want that. Hopefully our Ruby Medallion resolves this time. Bloodstained Mire will fetch, grab a basic mountain, Ruby Medallion. They always have it. Turn 2 Frog and Force of Negation every time. Jeez Louise. You got it. So we'll take 1 here. We go to 17, they'll draw up to 5 cards. They play Sink into Stupor as a land. Another Psychic Frog. Alright, can I draw a Ruby Medallion? No. We will Ren's Resolve. Rail Monsoon Mage would have been a good draw this turn. We will pass. So they're going to draw 2 cards off the Psychic Frog. So they're drawing 3 cards every turn. This is disgusting. They discard Faithless Looting, so we'll take 3, and they'll drop to 5 cards. Fetch. We'll grab Commercial District. Don't think we want the Wish. Manamorphose, that was actually fairly good. So we have to hope that the Rail Monsoon Mage resolves, and then try to trick them into playing a removal spell, and then we'll respond with a bunch of instant speed cards to try to flip the Rail. Ren's Resolve. Trigger the Rail. They Fatal Push. I will attempt a Desperate Ritual. Trigger the Rail. We'll say Tails. We lose the flip. Desperate Ritual. They Spell Pierce, so now my Rail will die. Bummer. Okay. Ren's Resolve. Okay. That's not terrible. Once again, though, our opponent's drawing 3 cards a turn cycle between their Draw Step and Psychic Frogs. I'm so glad this card got banned in Legacy because I am just so sick of it. Like, just the fact that it's way too pushed. Like, modern players might think that it's okay. I'm just so tired of this card. They discard a pair of Unearth. They have 2 cards left in hand before they draw 2. They play a land. 3 cards remain. Let's try Ruby Medallion. Spell Pierce. So I will Pyretic Ritual. It looks like they have another piece of interaction. Snapcaster Mage into another Spell Pierce. That's lethal. Okay, so we lose game number 1. Bring in the Veil of Summers. Board out Flame. But I think I'm going to try boarding out the 3rd Past in Flames again. Probably need a win condition. We'll try the empty. Boarding out 1 Wish. Let's give this a go. Sure. I might have been a little too reserved with my Faithless Lootings last game. Like, there's a chance that maybe I was supposed to fire 1 off earlier. Like, I'm not confident, but there is the possibility that would have been right. Like, I ended up thinking that in the middle of that final turn. We'll keep the Ritual. Pass. They just play Island Go. We'll play Bloodstained Mire, pass the turn. They missed their land. Good. Keep all those Force of Negations. This is what happens. Commercial District. Keep the Reckless Impulse on top. They discard an Oculus. We'll play Mountain past the turn. So our opponent probably has a Spell Snare in their hand. I don't need to play one of my Impulse effects into a Spell Snare. They draw Sewers. Gets rid of Consign to Memory. Past in Flames. Alright, we'll now play a Reckless Impulse effect. It's Ruby Medallion, Rail Monsoon, Mage. Okay. I was hoping for land number 4. They unearthed the Oculus, so now they have Beatdown. Sure. Land is my best draw by far, and we drew one. Perfect. Grab Stomping Ground. We'll start with the Rail Monsoon Mage because maybe this is dumb, but my thought process is they can't consign to memory it. Try Pyretic Ritual. We'll choose Tails. We win the flip. I'll say no. Pyretic Ritual. Try Reckless Impulse. Tails. Say no. Veil of Summer, Ren's Resolve. We'll play Desperate Ritual from hand. We'll say Tails. We win the flip. I will say no. Keep in mind the storm count over here includes Rail, so the actual number is 3. They play Spell Pierce. I will attempt a Veil of Summer. If they have Force of Negation, this is a good spot for them. We'll say Tails. We win the flip. This is still one short, so I'm going to say no. We draw Desperate Ritual. Wonderful. We'll say no. Desperate Ritual. Let's play Ruby Medallion. Ren's Resolve. Tails. We lose the flip. Play Manamorphose. Choose Tails. We win the flip. We'll say yes. Manamorphose. Apparently I was counting wrong because I thought I had it one flip earlier, but I was just incorrect. We'll minus the Rail. They have Surgical Extraction here. They're going to choose Pyretic Ritual. Okay. We'll play Desperate Ritual, Storm 11. We'll play Wish. And the opponent concedes. Sweet. So they did have Surgical. So the question is, do I want empty or would I rather have the Grapeshot? I think the empty's better. I'm going to send back the same list. This hand is very, very good. We will keep. Misty Rainforest. We'll play Commercial District. Get rid of Arid Mesa. We don't want another land. They search out Steam Vents. So I wonder if the red here is mostly just for Meltdown. Well, we did see looting, so we saw that in game 1. But is it just like looting and Meltdown? Like we haven't seen another reason to be red. Like are you playing Lightning Bolt over Fatal Push? We did see some Fatal Pushes. Or is this just to like turn to Oculus more often? It looks like that's the game plan here. Okay, turn 2 Oculus. They have 4 cards. I think I'm going to slam the Ruby Medallion. Ugh, another land. Okay, I feel pressured here for the Ruby Medallion. This play looked very good. Play Medallion. Force of Negation. Yep. We were probably going to die to Oculus. Like, I could have waited on the Veil of Summer. My fear is that I just end up being dead because I have to wait a turn, then I have to pass, and then they could have mana open this turn. So I was hoping with them having fewer cards in hand that we were going to be fortunate enough for our spell to resolve. They have 9 damage on the board. Ren's Resolve. We will pass. Not looking good for us here. So we'll go to 3. So I could grab a Surveil land, or I could grab the Stomping Ground so that way I can Veil of Summer twice. I think we need the Stomping Ground. Alright, we drew another land. Yeah, I would have loved, you know, something else, but we'll see what we can make happen here. Desperate Ritual. I don't think there's realistically a way we win this, but we might as well try. Reckless Impulse. Let's play Pyretic Ritual. They play Counterspell. We will Veil of Summer. We drew another land. So we're just dead. This Reckless Impulse can't hit anything. Ah, geez. We got smushed. That was a very good draw from the opponent there. Sometimes it just happens. We're now 2-2 with 1 match left to go. Actually, I'm going to make note of something real quick before we go to match number 5. So if these had been Orm's Chance, they just play so much worse against the Dimir deck because let's say you decided to hold on turn 3. So you wait and then you play Orm's Chant proactively. You play your Ruby Medallion and pass. That's not a play you want to make. Where if they're Veil of Summers, you could play it reactively. It's just, it didn't work out the way that we wanted. So it stinks. But I really do think that Veil of Summer is just so much better for beating this deck. It's just, so far, I feel like our opponents have drawn quite well against us. Like, turn 2 threat plus Force of Negation in 3 of the 4 games we lost. It hurts, but sometimes that is how Magic goes, so that's all I've got to say. We're going to go try to win match number 5. I will now see you there. The best legacy podcast? That would be Eternal Glory featuring myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Brian Cobal and Phil Gallagher. We're available on all major podcast platforms and YouTube. The final match, we are on the play. This hand was really close. We have to mulligan though. This seems fine. We'll keep and bottom the Faithless Looting. They have Gemstone Caverns, Exiling, Glimpse the Impossible. So it's the mirror match. Scalding Tarn, pass. And they don't have another land. Sure. We will grab Thundering Falls. Get rid of the Steam Vents. We don't need that. Ren's Resolve is a decent draw, but what we need to find is a Ruby Medallion or a Rail Monsoon Mage. We'll grab a basic mountain. Let's play Reckless Impulse. Past in Flames in a land. So if I draw another Ritual, we could try to go off without a creature next turn. They drew the land. They hit Steam Vent's Reckless Impulse. We drew another Reckless Impulse. So I will cycle the Manamorphose after I fetch. I guess I could always draw into a Rail, Monsoon Mage, or Ruby Medallion off of the Manamorphose, and that would allow me to win. But I did not. So we'll play another Reckless Impulse here. We have to hope that we're not dead. We saw 25% of our deck, a little over 25% there, and just never found anything we needed, which would have been a reducer. Interesting, they play Thundering Falls from hand instead of the Steam Vents, so they must not have the win. They find Artist Talent and a Ruby Medallion, so they're ready to go. Manamorphose will play the untapped land. What to do? We will start with... Actually, hold on. If I need to win, maybe I'm supposed to start on Desperate Ritual spliced. So we'll splice a Desperate Ritual. That's 6 mana. And now I will cycle a Manamorphose. Red, blue. We drew a land we didn't need. Ren's Resolve. It's double Ruby Medallion. I don't think I can keep going, though. I don't think I have enough mana. Desperate Ritual. So if I play Wish into Glimpse, I have no mana. If I play Ruby Medallion into Wish, into Glimpse, I have no mana. We're 1 mana short. We also saw 33% of our deck with only the 2 rituals that were in my starting hand. We'll play the Ruby Medallion, play the Wish, and we will Glimpse the Impossible, which does not hit a Past in Flames, which is what I was hoping for. So we'll get some Scions and pass the turn. So I will have enough mana next turn to go Wish, Past in Flames, win, assuming I even get another turn. They play Ruby Medallion. They have 1 untapped land, 6 cards in hand. Pyretic Ritual, Desperate Ritual, Reckless Impulse. They hit another Ruby Medallion and a land, so they can play the land. Manamorphose. They play the Artist Talent. They have 3 cards left. Glimpse the Impossible. They discard a Scalding Tarn. They hit another Glimpse and a Ren's Resolve. Pyretic Ritual from hand. So we need them to run out of mana, which seems like a big ask from here. They play Ren's Resolve. Discards Valakut Awakening. They hit a Desperate Ritual, and now they play it. Discards Ruby Medallion from hand. All the mana in the world now. Rail Monsoon Mage. Yeah, we're probably dead here. They did not discard to the Artist Talent. They won the flip, so we're definitely dead now. We gave our opponent way too much time. Alright, we'll save ourselves some time here. We'll go to the next game. Bummer. So we did see Steam Vents, or I'm sorry, no, it was a Steam Vents. So they might not be on a list that plays Orm's Chant. I say might because there's no promises. I think I'm actually just going to send back the same list here, because Flame of Anor can kill a Rail or a Ruby Medallion, something like that, while still being a live card. I will play first. We have to send it. Mulligan. Okay, we'll keep this and bottom the looting. So I think a lot of people have the wrong idea about Faithless Looting. My thing is, like, is it better than Valakut Awakening most of the time? If yes, play Looting. And other people see it being played in decks like Hollow One or, you know, Breach, and they're like, oh my god, this card's broken. It's never going to be broken in Ruby Storm, but you just need it to be better than what it's replacing. And I do think it's a better replacement than Valakut Awakening. So that is how I view the card. We will fetch, grab Thundering Falls, keep the Manamorphose. Arid Mesa will now fetch, Mountain, Ruby Medallion. Pass the turn. So I feel like in these mirror matches, people a lot of the time feel a little jumpy, and they're like, okay, I'm going to Pyretic Ritual, Ruby Medallion, Manamorphose. And they're just always trying to win off nothing, and I feel like that's one of the easiest ways you can lose. It's just trying to force it when your hand doesn't do what you're asking it to. They fetch, Great Thundering Fall. So they're holding open Orm's Chant. We draw Steam Vents. Let's try Reckless Impulse. Okay. They're F6'd. I don't know if that actually means anything. Ren's Resolve. Pyretic Ritual. Let's try Manamorphose. Red. Red. We'll play another Manamorphose. Blue, red. So, Wish into Past in Flames, I am just short of. So we will Faithless Looting into 2 lands. That was less than ideal. We'll Flashback Looting. And I'm right back where I started. Discard Flame of Anor and Wish. So I can go Ritual Wish into 2 mana. And if I want to go... I have to keep the land if I want to try to Past in Flames next turn. So Ritual brings me up to 4, Wish brings me now to 2. So I'm short on Empty the Warrens. I could Glimpse, but Glimpse is not good here. Alright. Oh, I guess I had the land in exile. I should have discarded the land. My bad. I was a little too tunnel visioned on Fizzling. Am I dead? Pyretic Ritual. Ruby Medallion. They have 1 red. Pyretic Ritual. Manamorphose. They made a red, so they could have Flame of Anor here. Reckless Impulse. 2 mana floating. They play a land. They play Glimpse, which hits Ritual Manamorphose, which is insane. They Manamorphose for double red. They have 4 cards. They play the Ritual. If they have Past in Flames, we lose. Glimpse the Impossible into Rail Reckless Impulse. So they can 50-50 here. They didn't take the 50-50. Interesting. So they Manamorphose up to double red. There's 1 Rail. They have 4 cards. Is one of them a card that flips Rail? Glimpse the Impossible. They lost the flip. They won it in game 1, so I don't feel so bad for them. Okay, so we have not seen an Orm's Chant by... Oh no, there is an Orm's Chant here. So they are in fact playing Orm's Chant. And this should just be a pretty clean win for us. Vesper Ritual, Pyretic Ritual. We'll play the land. I just don't want to bother fetching. I also don't know if there's an untapped land in the deck, and I just don't want to think about it. We'll play Past in Flames. Vesper Ritual, Pyretic Ritual. We'll play Pyretic Ritual, play Wish, Manamorphose, red, red, play Rail Monsoon Mage, Ren's Resolve. We'll choose Tails. We win the flip, we'll say yes. Ren's Resolve, minus the Rail, Pyretic Ritual, Manamorphose, red, red, play another Ruby Medallion. Storm is 14. I'm just trying to get up high enough to win with the sideboard Grapeshot at this point. We'll play another Wish, Ren's Resolve, and we'll play the Grapeshot from the sideboard. So this will send us to game number 3. Okay. I have not loved my draws so far. I will say that. It's felt a little awkward. It has nothing to do with Faithless Looting either. It's just like we haven't drawn either reducers or mana or whatever. Like our draws have just been slightly awkward. Game 3, our opponent's taken a mulligan. We will keep. They have Arid Mesa. So with hands like this, you're really begging to draw ritual effects. But what I like about it is you obviously have a reducer on the second turn. But from there, you have Wish. If they kept a hand based on Orm's Chant, you have the ability to go Wish Pact of Negation and just shut that down. They Surveil away Wish. They have Scalding Turn. Do you have a turn 2 reducer? They fetch for a Steam Vents. And they have a Rail, so we could be dead next turn. We'll grab Thundering Falls. We'll keep the Manamorphose. They have 4 cards. Fetch, we're at 18. Grab the Mountain. We'll play our own Rail Monsoon Mage. Pass. If they have it, they have it. They have 5 cards in hand. Reckless Impulse. Glimpse the Impossible, Past in Flames. I mean, those were interesting reveals. If they don't have the mana, it's good. But if their hand is all mana, we're in trouble. Manamorphose. They win the flip. So they'll have mana now to play Glimpse the Impossible. They play a land from hand. Ren's Resolve instead of the Glimpse. Okay. They had another Glimpse in a land. So we need them to not have a ritual here. It's interesting that they're playing blue and they're playing Glimpse. Like, typically when you play blue, you play Flame of Anor, which, if I'm being completely honest with you, I did not feel like was particularly good this league. If there's any card I changed in my deck, it would be the Flame of Anors. I actually love 4 Wish for Faithless Looting, but maybe this just isn't a Flame of Anor metagame. That is a possibility. So they tapped out, and now we don't even have to play around Ormschand. But the question is, can I even do anything meaningful here? We'll fetch, grab Mountain, play Manamorphose. We'll say Tails, we lost the flip. Make red, looting. Honestly, a decent draw here. We'll play it. Say Tails, we win the flip. No. Okay. We don't need Past in Flames and double Medallion. So what I can do here is we're going to kill the Rail and draw 2. This is the best Flame of Anor has looked all league after I talk trash. Alright, so we'll kill the Rail and we'll draw 2. Our Rail will trigger. We'll say Tails. We win the flip. No. So we'll draw 2. Ritual is spell number 4. Tails. We win the flip. We'll say no. So I have an interesting decision here. I can wish into, like, I don't know, Grapeshot trying to flip the Rail. Or I could flashback Looting, which isn't guaranteed to hit a spell. But we could theoretically keep doing stuff. I don't know what the right play is. Wish gives you the guaranteed ability to try to flip. We've seen 1 ritual, so there's 7 left. There's 3 Manamorphose left, so that's 10 rituals. We have all 8 Reckless Impulse effects, so that's 18 hits off the top of my head. 3 Faithless Looting is 21 hits, so that's 50% of the deck with 2 looks. We're going to flashback Looting. Alright, Rail Monsoon Mage will trigger. We'll say Tails. This is only spell number 5, so I will say no. Faithless Looting. Discard Past in Flames, discard Ruby Medallion. So now we can Manamorphose, which gives me another chance to flip here. We'll say Tails. We lost the flip. Manamorphose. Red. Ren's Resolve. Rail Monsoon Mage will trigger. We'll say Tails. Well, this time we win, so we'll transform. Minus on the Rail. We didn't hit any. We hit a single Manamorphose. Yikes. Alright, so we'll play the Manamorphose. Red. We can Flame of Anor here to draw 2. Target myself. There's some rituals. Target myself. We'll play Ruby Medallion. I believe we have it. Pyretic Ritual. Desperate Ritual. We'll play the Wish. Alright, they're at 15, so Grapeshot wins. How about that? So we went 3-2, only losing to the Dimir Frogtide deck. I mean, one of them was, in fact, Grixis for Faithless Looting and probably Meltdown out of the sideboard. And honestly, the Faithless Looting tech there looked incredible. So, shout out to that opponent, like they found something really interesting. But what did I think of the deck? We didn't get to Wish Pact of Negation to beat an Ormschand. It was a possibility in the 3rd match that never came up. I think I was a little too reserved against the Grixis opponent with my lootings. I'd have to go back and look because obviously I've been recording the whole time. I don't know. But I think maybe I should have played one a little bit earlier. I don't love playing it on turn 1 a lot. Like, that is not when I want to play Faithless Looting most of the time, unless you're in a racing situation. Like, I would have done it depending on what my hand was in the mirror match. But it didn't end up coming up this league. So Flame of Anor would be a card that, if you don't want to play blue, I get it. But I actually really like 4-Wish Faithless Looting. So if you don't want to play Flames, I think you could try a main deck Grapeshot, so that way you don't have to board one in all the time. And then you could still play it off of Wish if for some reason the main deck one wasn't an option, or you have double Grapeshot for consigned to memory stuff. So that way you could theoretically Grapeshot 4 times in a turn against like multiple consigns. So that's something I could look at. You could go up a land. 18 felt fine, but there were a few mulligans we had due to only having one land. So you could try land number 19. Those are things you could do. You could try 1 or 2 copies of Glimpse the Impossible, but I feel like Flame is just better most of the time. So that's where I'm at. I do think Veil of Summer is better than Orm's Chant, even though everyone right now is on Orm's Chant. Things can always change. I mean, if you go back 3 months ago, Veil was everywhere, Orm's Chant wasn't, so who knows? But I like my list right now. I'm just not 100% confident about Flame of Anor. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day and keep storming. What you should do is like, comment, and subscribe because there's no better way to support us. And if you enjoyed this video, head over to moxfield.com and follow us there. It's truly the best deck website on the internet. We update all of our decks there regularly with the latest and greatest technology, so you're always up to date. Once again, go check out Moxfield, and thank you for watching.